Can the use of heart rate monitors give trainers the edge?
Without a doubt. I've done over 2,000 readings, and I think we've been wrong twice, and I think we've picked a lot of winners out of these heart rate monitors.
They come from everywhere.
The difference between winning and losing on the racetrack can come down to the smallest margin.
On the outside of there, running on is the real prince, but it's Gladiatorian. And on the inside, see it again. Oh, if I had to go anyway, it may be Gladiatorian from See It Again, but it's very, very close.
Whilst it's disappointing to get beaten by a small margin, a study by Bristol University on winning distances in British flat racing found that just a 1% improvement in performance translated into winning races over simply placing.
It's a photo between
But how to coax extra effort from horses is always a challenge for trainers.
Stressing them far too often, they haven't had sufficient recovery time in between workouts for them to refuel, recover.
But technology could just lend a helping hand in the data generated from the use of heart rate monitors in training.
And heart's beating, as you can see over there. And we're ready to go.
The stats don't lie. So if you follow in the heart rate recoveries, you can send horses to the races as fit as you can possibly have them, and then have them run consistently and run to the best of their form.
Summerveld trainer Peter Muscat is an advocate of heart rate monitors and uses them to good effect. In the past racing season, Peter posted the highest percentage winners to runners in the first 100 trainers on the national log. At a strike rate of 21.5%, the Muscat yard had over 1 in 5 runners return as winners. We recently caught up with Peter and Eric Fordred to find out how heart rate monitors benefit trainers in the sport.
A heart rate monitor is very similar to what you have on athletes today. You see them on the rugby players' jerseys at the back there, and you'll see them on your Apple Watches.
And what does a heart rate monitor do?
So the heart rate monitor registers the horse's heartbeat as it does in a human. And what that does is tell us how fit the horse is and how much stress he's taking from his work.
But heart rate monitors provide trainers with far more information, or data, as Peter likes to call it, than just heart rate recoveries.
Michele, once we've worked our horses in the morning and downloaded the data onto the Aranea app, a report like this one gets generated, which basically summarizes all your work that you've put that horse through that day.
It has a phenomenal ability to measure the horse's stride length and stride frequency. And so if you have a horse with a long stride and a low stride frequency, then this horse is more likely to be a stayer. But it has to be done in a gallop on flat surfaces and preferably on the grass. The opposite applies if a horse is a sprinter. He'll have a much higher stride frequency and a much shorter stride. The other thing that's very interesting for me is over time, when you've done a lot of analysis on horses, you'll be able to find that these horses, if their stride length decreases over a period of time, there's something coming. You can pick it up without the eye, which you normally take a while to do, but this can give you a warning sign.
It can sometimes be indicative of a pending problem with a horse. You can act on that through soundness assessment and all of that.
I think it's an excellent tool for the welfare of horses. The other interesting is the sectionals. When the horse gallops, you can see every 200 meters how fast he's going and at what time he's doing it in. So 10, 11, 12 every 200 meters, depending on how fast he's galloping.
The column on top is the time that the horses run per sectional, which is all very relevant.
And these are big aids to trainers because often, with binoculars you think you're seeing something, but when you actually read the speeds after your download, you go like, whoa, this horse worked too fast, or he worked too slow, or really this was great work, his sectionals were fantastic, this horse looks like he's going to run well.
Eric, when you're preparing to fit a heart rate monitor to a horse, I see you put a sponge in water. Just explain to us what you are doing there and why.
What we do is we put the sponge in water, we put it on the horse, the water, in the areas that the heart rate monitor is going to go.
The electrodes are then wet in a bucket of water before being placed on the skin, just below the wither and under the girth.
And that helps connectivity, which in turn helps the heart rate monitor work a lot better.
Tell me how satellite now comes into this whole story.
Okay, so the satellite picks up the signal from the heart rate monitor, and then it sends it back to France, who then does the whole application of reading the heart rate monitor, and they send it back to us. And that can take up to 2 minutes, and depending on the signal, could take longer. But once that is done, we can actually read the whole heart rate, what happened in the work in the morning.
Could you explain to me what you and Peter were doing on your phone and on your tablet, looking at those results while the horse was still there at the track?
So what we do is we put it on live, where then immediately we can read what the horse's heart rate is as he comes back, and we see how long it takes for the heart rate to come down. At the same time, it also has an ECG function where we can read the ECG of the horse's heartbeat.
Also in young horses, it's particularly beneficial. We as trainers focus more on musculoskeletal development. The cardiovascular system is very underdeveloped when you first start them out. As an example, most horses, when they're galloping, they peak in at about 220 beats per minute. When you start your young horses, they can go up into the 270s. That needs to be incorporated into the whole equation when you should be starting to press them.
So how often would you put a monitor on a horse?
You need to use it frequently to build data, because data is data, and the more you have, the more success you'll have. If you've got a horse that's racing fit, you probably only need to put it on once a week, and that would be his sprint up or his pace work before the race, so that you can see how he's doing. If a horse has been off for quite a while, and you need to start using it as you bring him back, so that you can see how he's improving all the time.
This sounds like really interesting technology. How well used are heart rate monitors internationally?
Michele, it's growing exponentially. It's unbelievable, the pace that it's picked up now, and with AI, it's getting even faster and faster. I think every top trainer throughout the world is now using it.
I know a lot of the big stables in Australia have got dedicated teams just analysing data every day. England, it's very widely used. French use it extensively, and the Americans are also very much into the data that they receive.
Do you think South Africa is going that way and we'll see more trainers using this technology?
I think it's evolving into that. A lot of the trainers are starting to have a think about their operations and incorporating the valuable data that you can realise out of the use of the heart rate monitor.
So do you believe that technology actually has a place in training horses these days?
100%. Unless you move into the times, you're going to get left behind. So we're constantly trying to upgrade the resources available to us, and obviously the use of the heart rate monitor plays an important role in that.
Currently there are 12 trainers in South Africa using heart rate monitors. The number is going to increase exponentially, because we're going to have Hollywood Racing put it with all their trainers. So that's around about 27, 28 trainers that will be using heart rate monitors. And additionally, there are probably 62 units that will be used, and that will cover over 300 horses. And as we all know, Hollywood has the horses' best interest at heart, and they want their horses' welfare to be perfect.